Tariffs, often viewed as economic tools to regulate trade and protect domestic industries, can also be used against the people and can also be interpreted as a symbolic ritual that reflects deeper societal, political, and cultural dynamics. Far beyond their practical function, these tariffs serve as powerful acts against others, against the mechanisms of sovereignty. They act These acts of power, control, and messaging symbolizing economic nationalism, global elitism, retaliation, sacrifice of the people, isolation and decimation of countries. Historically, these tariffs have been used to assert political social sole sovereignty over the nation, punishing their rivals and manipulating access to resources for needy populations such as workers and people who rely on the systems in place. These would include systems such as food supplies, and this creates dependency or codependency and fear. Fear that your GOVT doesn't have your back. Fear of starvation. Fear that you can't continue your ascent because you're busy working 24 hours a day, or you're fearful of someone coming to do something that would throw off your own process because other people haven't been ready for this moment in time. All of these point to difficulties in persisting in our consciousness level. These actions often carry ritualistic undertones where the populations endure hardship or society as symbolic offerings to uphold national priorities or elite interests. So these scarcities are symbolic for that. From the corn laws in Britain to the potato famine to the US-China trade war, tariffs have shaped global relationships and reinforced power structures, blending economic strategy with symbolic gestures of dominance, justice, and unity. Knowing what these tariffs are through this lens, through this viewpoint, reveals their dual role as practical policies and profound expressions of societal control and influence. And thirdly, potentially, working for the balance. Everything happens here in balance. And it doesn't always feel nice, and it doesn't always look pretty. And that is how excellence and perfection is created. So I do not condone anything that goes against harmony and unity. But I do understand that there's a lot at play here. And I do know that we are here for it, for some purpose, some role. And in order to determine what that is, we must endure this. The war on the population nationally and globally. So with all the new movements in the GOVT, we can see how this is a ritual which is being conducted by every nation on every people. But most of the populations can't see it that way. They'll say, oh, those Americans over there, or they'll say, oh, the Chinese, this and that. And really, these are not the people making decisions. It is not the everyday American. It's not the everyday Chinese. It's not the everyday anybody who is making the decisions to tax or not tax, or to drive wages down, prices up, or to create food scarcities as a sacrifice of the population, as a ritual in the context of manipulating the availability of food, which serves as whoever controls the food controls the people, which shifts even more power to the global elite, multinational elite, and other power groups to manipulate food supplies, which creates in the populations globally fear, dependency, and submission. Because by controlling access to food, these groups basically exert and show us their immense influence over the society, which has been a slow accumulation effect because people have gotten out of touch with nature. They've gotten out of touch with the self accountability, because we've all been able to go to the grocery store at ease and pick up whatever we want, whenever we want, 24 hours, 7 days a week. And so other rituals are global power shifts, where we are now seeing a change in hand, a change in power dynamics. One nation must be up, so another one must be down. Again, that's a us versus them type scenario, which isn't really the fact. We're all one. So you see the lies here. This is a spiritual war against us again. And this is how the ritual is being performed. So there's a ritual on wealth redistribution, where again the power dynamic is shifting. The power used to be that America was supposed to be this global powerhouse, and the people here are so affluent and wealthy, and now it's shifting to another country, and now the purchasing power of most Americans is going to diminish quite a bit. And this is just ritualistic energy shifts, and that's what it's all about, to keep the matrix going. Okay. Another one is a ritual of isolation and division. Isolation and division is basically the conquer and divide, or divide and conquer, by the global national elites and secret societies, which pushes and fragments people into an isolated situation, such as right now the people here don't even really speak to each other. Nobody trusts each other, and it's just a big mess. And so basically, overall, this is all about economic control, sacrifice, fear, isolation, division. And this is cyclical. This is cyclical to create progress in one area, diminishment in another. That's how power is moved around. That's how, if you keep something very scarce, then it becomes a very high commodity somewhere else. And that's easily controllable, easily manipulatable, especially when we have TV commercials and we're distracted. So again, what do we need to do about that? What we need to do about that is be about our own sovereignty, 100%. Body, mind, spirit, soul, essence, emotions, everything. Everything to your own excellence and your own perfection. Be willing to go without for a while until you get yourself where you need to be. Be willing to partner with people you would have never have thought you could partner with, or be willing to make amends with family members you haven't spoken to in a while. But be about creating an environment for your soul, create an environment for your essence, create an environment so that of love, so that when all these things are happening, we can stay steady right here, where we are not being shifted to either side, pointing fingers, blaming, getting anywhere caught up in the nonsense. But yet we progress and we prosper. That's the point of how we can overcome, maybe overcome is not the right word, how we can transcend the influences that are all about, and how we can transcend what seems to be a doomsday call for the country that we're finding ourselves in today. Remember, this is all literally a show. This is all literally a game. This is all a story. Your actual, true, wholeness, self, your whole being is unaffected by this. However, you are sitting in a body. And so if you're sitting in a body, you're going to want to eat. You're going to want to have lights on in your house. You're going to want to have water. You're going to want to be able to feed your kids, clothe yourself. You're going to want to have a stable life. These are needs, not necessarily aggrandized wants. So if you're hearing me, what I'm saying, the intention here is for us to create from within, ignoring everything else. But you have to be aware of what's going on, or you'll get blindsided, okay? So this is not fear-mongering. This is to inform from a spiritual perspective. So to not be blindsided, set yourself up for the win, okay? Start a garden, get some chickens, whatever you want to do for yourself. However you plan to feed your kids, yourself for the next 4 or 5 years, maybe longer, maybe forever. I don't know. Who knows? But what we also do, this is our number one thing actually that we should be doing as consciousness allows, right? We dream better. We dream better. We dream of a different life. We dream of a world that none of this is happening. We dream of a world where we do have servant leadership. where we do have people looking out for one another, where we have harmony between animals. You hear my puppies in there going off. Where, I mean, they're gonna play, but where we have basically nothing like this. We don't have war. We don't need to be in a 3D world where it's perpetuating this cycle like this. We can do better. Some solutions to the problem or the issue at hand. Now, I have a full video for the food issue, but these are some of the solutions regarding what to do. What to do now, right? So, one is look to your local community. I've already said that. Look to cooperate with food distributors local to you, such as your local farmers, right? Excuse me. You want to also start some public awareness and advocacy for yourself and people you know. Start empowering yourself and others with information about how food grows. Start educating yourself about what soil is and how the life of a plant comes from the soil's macro and micronutrients within. Okay, start getting some alternative food sources. Start getting used to eating certain things that you would never have wanted to eat before. Start broadening your palate. And you could do a whole lot more than that. And so in the time that we're in, this is nothing again to be worried about. There are plenty of solutions. We want to remember that our goal, our mission is ourself, and that means to continue to do our shadow work, continue to look within, continue to find the answers inside. So everything I'm saying is a pointer for you to look at you deeper.